To a new episode of Beyond the Pages. And today we're having Jordyn with us. Jordyn, welcome and thank you for being on the show.
Hi, glad to be here.
Jordyn, before we dive into your book, can you tell us a bit about you?
Sure, I'm Jordyn Barnes. I live in Florida. Don't hold that against me. I am the author of the Hollywoodland series because I used to live in California and fell in love with it. And this is like my little love story to California. It is an interconnected standalone series. I am just about to put the end on book four, but books one through three are already out. And I launched them in August, October, and December of last year.
Oh my goodness, you have been busy.
I've been so busy.
So, um, you talked a bit already, like it's your little love story. So, what is the inspiration? Is it just California, or what was it that you make fall in love with California that you decided to write the books?
There are so many different kinds of people in California. It's a giant pot of people you can pick from as characters, and it's just like reaching in and grab. Oh, who do I got today? Who do I got today? And that made it super easy. I'm also. It started out as a couple ideas I had for a fanfic that I was going to do, and I was like, no, this isn't going to be a fanfic. We're going to make this an actual story with new characters and no fanfic stuff in it at all. And it's just, I started writing it during NaNoWriMo, which I no longer do anymore because of their problems, but
Hmm.
I was back then. And you're supposed to write 50,000 words in a month. And I think at the end of that month, I wrote 150,000 words, all of them for book one. I had so much editing to do after that. There was so much story that just came pouring out of me. And I really think it was because I missed California. I missed being where I was so happy. And I was like,
Hmm.
doing this got my brain back into California. So I got to just pretend I was still there and I was these different people.
So, what is the genre of your books?
Spicy contemporary romance,
Ooh.
extra spicy.
Well, you have enough of that in California for sure.
Yep.
So when did you really start writing your first book?
The first book in this series, I started putting pen to paper, as they say, that first day of November. I had ideas. I had no outline. I don't write with an outline. I had just random thoughts in my head, and I was like, I'm just going to keep writing scenes until I run out of scenes to write, and then figure it out from there. And I call it chaos writing. I enjoy chaos writing. It's just how it works for me.
I have a bit the same, like I tried to use an outline and I was just fuming with myself the other day. I was like, here I am making this beautiful outline and I just could throw it in the bloody rubbish.
Day one, right in the trash. Phoop, there it goes. Because the
Yeah.
characters, they said no.
They have a
This
mind of
last
their
book,
own.
they do. This last book, my plan was to have one of the characters have their own book. He was going to get book six. I was going to make this a six-book series, and he said, "Nope, I'm in this book now." I was like, "Oh, okay, cool."
It's the best writing though. Like you see just the creativity just flows and it's definitely the best.
It's it holds you in more. I feel because I feel
Mm.
like if you follow that strict structure, it becomes too. You know what's going to happen before it happens.
Mhm.
You know where the highs and lows are going to be when you just chaos, right? It's you have no idea what's going to happen next. You turn the page and you're like, oh, that's where we went. Cool, great.
If you guys want to, okay, I follow.
Exactly.
So in a normal day, like how does your writing day look like? Like, are there certain routines you follow, or is that chaos as well?
I actually had kind of a routine to keep the chaos something of an order, I guess.
Mhm.
Um, like bumpers down a bowling alley, just keeping it bouncing back and forth. Um, I wasn't employed for
Mm.
almost a year and a half. And so I took that time and I said, I'm going to write. Since I don't have a job, I'm applying everywhere and it's just making me frustrated. So I'm going to do something that makes me happy. And I'm going to sit down and I'm going to do the rest of these books. Why not? And I'm going to publish them for once. And I would get up and I treated it like a job. I'd get up, I'd go grab breakfast, get the dog out, do what I needed to, sit at my computer with my coffee, and I would write until lunchtime. And then I'd have lunch, take a break, go back to my computer, and I would write until dinner time. And I would just keep writing. And like there were some days where it just wasn't flowing. So I was like, okay, well, today I'll design some graphics after I'm done writing a couple of paragraphs. I'll go do some marketing and do whatever. But whatever it was, I was working from like 8 to sometimes 9 or 10 at night.
Mm.
And it was just nonstop. And I loved it. I was in my element. Now I have a job and people expect me to go to work, which is just crap. But I do. So now at lunchtime, the guys will come by, hey, we're gonna go get lunch. You want to go? Nope, I'm busy. I'm writing. So I try to take a couple of days and go with them, but
Yeah,
most of the times I stay home and I write or stay at my desk and I write. And then the minute I come home, I'm like, dog out, fed, back to the computer. And I just keep plugging away as much as I can.
keep writing. So, how do you approach your character development? Like you already told a bit, like, okay, this is me. I'm a chaotic writer, but is there something that's more structured there, or is it just like, well, I have these people in my head that I saw walking or having coffee in a cafe in California, and that was just it.
Different things that I'll pick up from just being out in the real world. That becomes part of it. There's a guy at work who's, I already told him, I'm like, you are so book five. I hate to break it to you, but you are so book five. And I can't wait to write that character. But there's a bit of that. And then there's also, like I said, it started out as a fanfic. So I have certain characters were in my head already as to this is a wall of nothing but Bucky Barnes from the Marvel
Okay.
series. And if you look closely at my cover, you might notice there's a slight resemblance to some of the characters, and yeah, that's where that comes from. I am a huge Bucky Barnes slash Sebastian Stan fan, and so he plays heavily into some of the characters. Some of it is personal experience, friends, people I've known, things I've gone through. None of it is like a lot of people thought that with my hair being pink and crazy and fun that the first and she's a graphic designer in the first book and that's what I was like, oh, did you just write yourself? I'm like, no, I did not just write myself. She's got some of my weird ticks and craziness, but no, she's a totally different thing. But there's a little of me in there, and then there's a little of me in that character, and a little in that character, and a little in that character. So that's just how that unfolds. And I'd say it's probably 50-50 on personal life experience
Mhm.
and movie characters, and then the other half being people I've seen out in the real world.
Yeah, I hear it a lot. Like there is n never one character that is actually based on you as a person. It's always like, okay, I take me and I brockle everything off and I just plunk it into all these little tiny characters that will grow out to these amazing people in the book.
I always love when people say, no, there's none of that, none of me in that character. I'm like, that's a lie. That is a lie. There's some teeny tiny piece of you or something you've gone through, seen, done, said in that character every time, guaranteed.
I think so as well. Like you need to base characters or your story on something that you might have experienced or want to or have seen somewhere. Otherwise, you will have a pretty flat story.
So flat, so flat. And when I was in California, I actually lived in Long Beach and worked for I think it was like 3 months that I was in Long Beach and worked in the Valley. And if you're not familiar with California, if I drove that, on a weekday to go to work, it probably would have been about a 2 hour drive because of traffic. But I took the metro rail, and so it was only an hour, hour and 15 minutes on the rail. So but the people I got to see riding
Mm.
that metro every day, that I took so many notes and just I still have them in my phone somewhere. I'm like, you got to write about this character.
So, did you do a lot of research for your book, or wasn't that really necessary? Um,
There were small things I had to research, but not, I didn't have to like dive into massive amounts of research because I was writing characters I kind of already had in my head and places I'd been. A lot of the places that I mentioned in the books, they're real places. You can, I don't know if it's still open. I heard it closed. One of the pie holes is there, and that's mentioned in book one.
okay.
Um, book three, they go to the Magic Castle, which is an amazing place. If you ever go to LA and get a chance to go to the Magic Castle, go there. It is magic. Um, but different places, and I've been there. There were a couple places I hadn't been, so I had to like call friends and like, hey, I'm looking for a place where you can do this in LA. And they're like, oh, look up this place, and then I'd have them tell me about it too. So to get a little bit of the what the business says they are, and then a little bit of what my friends have experienced in that place. So not tons of research, but a little bit.
Mm.
Made it fun.
So the spicy, very spicy, steamy romance. So why you chose that?
Because like I said, it started in fanfic, and it was interesting to start there because I wasn't going to write for I had started writing when I was a kid, and I wasn't going to write again. I dabbled in a little romance back then. Everybody does when they're teenagers and young 20s, and they're going to write. I'll write spicy romance. It's going to be great. And then they tuck it in a drive somewhere and never look at it again because they were embarrassed by it. And I started reading these other fanfics, and I'm like, wait, but these are really cool. And they're getting so many people to comment on them. And there's a reason this is the number one selling genre. What am I thinking? Why is this embarrassing? And one of the other authors, her name's Thea Lawrence, she's like, no, you should totally write. And then my friend came in and she's like, you need to write this book. I'm like, all right, guys, I'm gonna write a fanfic. And I tried that and I loved it. And I loved writing all the spicy scenes. And some people are like, I hate writing those. I'm like, no, I don't cringe. I don't laugh. I don't giggle. I just write them. And I have so much fun writing them. And that's where the research gets fun and tricky. Um,
We want to
but yeah,
hear
that's,
about that more. So you do a bit of research. Well,
I mean, yeah, on incognito mode. Yeah, between that and reading other people's, like, obviously I don't just take their scenes or anything like that, but like
hmm,
they'll set a beautiful scene that I'm like, oh, this is a great way to describe it, and then I'll try to find my own way to describe something similar. Um, if I get stumped, that's like my favorite thing to do is I will
hmm,
grab a book and just start reading, and that will help kickstart the gears again. And I'll be like right in the middle of reading. Right now, I'm reading The Losers, and I'm like, I'm laughing because some of it is I'm like, wow, I could have read this before, and it sounds a lot like a lot of the things happening in my book four. Great. Oops, didn't even know that. But like some of the character development, I'm like, oh, I need to go deeper into my character like she's
hmm,
doing here. And so that helps get everything working again. I'm like, now I know where I need another chapter. I need to fill this in here. I need to tell more about Skylar or more about Danny or whoever. I'm like,
hmm,
I wasn't going deep enough. But other people's books will help me realize that I haven't gone deep enough into my own characters, or I haven't explored this weird twitch or tweak or whatever that they did. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I can try that.
hmm. And like just a global, but what's the story about? Maybe like are they standalones or are they a
They're
continuous in
standalone,
the
but
story?
they're interconnected.
Okay.
Yeah, they're interconnected standalones. So it's a group of friends that all lives in LA. And it's kind of each friend gets their own book. So book one starts out with Jamie, and he's a photographer, and he meets Lexi. And then book two is Steve. And then book three is Chase. Book four is Danny, the female friend of the group that is just like the little kid sister that they all play big brother to.
Mm,
And then book five ends up being one of their actual little brothers, because he's just kind of the tag along in the group. And it's each book shows how that character kind of finds themselves and figures out life. Um, Not many of them are in their 20s. Most of the characters are in their 30s. One is in
mm.
his 40s. So there's two in their 20s. No, three in their 20s, but they're like later 20s, except for
Okay.
one. Devin's a kid. Devin's just a dumb kid, and he is super fun. I can't wait for you guys to read him in book five.
Spoiler alert. We need
Uh,
we
he
need
is
to
already
read.
screaming in my head. I haven't even finished book four, and he's already like, hey, I got these ideas. I'm like, calm down, sit down.
Hold on, mate. So did you face any real challenges like writing your series?
A lot of challenges. Most of them were second guessing myself, that lovely inner voice that likes to tell you how much you suck, uh, all of that fun stuff.
Mm,
I was also, because it's a series, and I go, this is not a rom-com. None of these are really rom-coms. They're a little dark, they're a little deep.
mm,
And that worried me because I was like, well, is anybody going to want to read this? Because I'm like talking about mental health issues and LGBTQIA plus issues. And what if people don't want to read this? And then I realized I don't care. I'm going to write them anyway. And then come to find out, people wanted to read it, which was great. But that really, it's still, even when I'm writing them now, I'm like, should I even mention this? Is this something I should bring up? Do I have any authority to write on this? Like, do I need to talk to more people? Do I need more sensitivity readers? It's like that is such a panic mode for me,
mm.
is the worry that I'm gonna offend someone. And I've kind of realized that it doesn't matter. Someone out there is going to be offended. I just have to do what's best for the majority of people. And that's hard. That's hard to do because you don't want to
Yes.
piss anybody off.
No, I think that is a pain, especially now. Like you have so many choices and characters you create, and you always want to do the best thing. Like I can't really imagine one author that, well, maybe one or two, but overall, like when an author writes, it writes because we write because we love it. We love to write. We love to bring those characters alive and not to hurt you or your feelings. So the struggle of, I think, being authentic and try not to offend people. Yeah, that's a balance that I think a
It's
lot of
hard.
authors are struggling with at the moment.
It is hard. It's hard, and a lot of them are showing some true colors that shouldn't be shown. But I think there's a line you can cross to where you're like, I don't really care about my readers. I am a horrible person, so I'm
Mm,
just gonna put that on the page. Versus someone like me who's just like, I'm just doing my best. I'm
mm,
not out to hurt anyone. I'm not throwing crazy racist stuff out there or anything like
no.
that. But I do have a big chunk in trigger slash content warning because I'm like, look, my books are not for everyone. No, not
Mm,
everyone is going to be able to read these. I have a friend, one of my closest friends. I'm like, you cannot read book three. You cannot. You can read book one, you can read book two. You got to skip book three. There's some stuff in there that I know is going to bother you. I know you're past, so don't even bother. Just skip right over. I'll give you a summary. And that doesn't bother me because I know some people just can't. And I'm totally
mm.
open to that. If you ever get to my books and you're like, I can't, there's this trigger warning, I just can't read it. Can I get a summary? I'm like, yeah, sure. I will give you a summary.
Well, that's fair enough. Like, not every book is for everybody, and I think, especially in the genre you're writing at, people will be triggered. because it
Yeah.
isn't like a little schoolgirl Bridget Jones diary kind of book. It's
No,
dark,
yeah.
it's erotic, it's like steamy and spicy girls. So, hmm.
They're gonna get it on, and they're gonna get it on page, and they're gonna struggle. I have a sign that I put up at my table that my dad actually got for helped me get, and it says full of drama, trauma, and happily ever afters. I'm like, that's my books, and just a real quick little tie a bow around it because it's drama and trauma, but you're gonna get that happy ending. It's gonna be good at the end. It's gonna be worth it, and you're gonna want to hug some characters and stuff, but you're gonna want to punch them in the face, and that's fine.
Sometimes you need to. And like if you could spend one day as one of your characters, who would it be?
I would like to spend it with Lexi from book one, as Lexi from book one, because she's like amazing and so cool. But I kind of want to pick Ren from book three too, because she is extra spicy. She is 5 foot tall, Latina. She's plus size. She's snarky. She No one gets in her way, and she ends up getting with Chase, who is the movie star of the friend group. He is 6'5". He is drop dead gorgeous. Every girl wants to be with him, and she's got him on his knees. And I'm like, yes, that's where he belongs, girl. So I don't know. I think either of the two of them.
So, we talked a bit earlier about you reading books and getting like inspired by them. Like, are there a couple of like authors that really inspired you to become a writer or just to plunge yourself in the deep and pursue a career as a writer?
I gotta give a massive shout out to Thea Lawrence on that one because she's an independent author. She's from Canada. Her books, I was just coming back into reading romance. I'd always told myself, I don't like romance. It's boring. I don't get it. It's just lovey-dovey crap because I'm not a rom-com person.
Hmm.
And I picked up her. I don't even remember how I saw her on Instagram, but whatever it was, it caught my attention. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna read it. Why not? I'm trying to get some books read. It's cool. I obsessed over that character. I mean, I made shirts with him on it. I made her band posters because it's a rock star romance. I was just obsessed with this character. And she's one of the reasons I started writing in the first place. And I would definitely say her. I would also say Emily Rath because she's another one who will just go out there. She's like, I don't really care if anyone reads this book. These are my characters and my people, and I stand by them. And I love that. I think that's great. Um, Let's see, Harley LaRue. I love her. She's great. I'm like hooked on her series right now, Losers. She's great. And there's like, I have a whole wall of local indie authors that I could list off, but it would take me a good hour and a half if I had to do that. Mary Dublin is freaking amazing, and she doesn't even write super spicy stuff, but she's got this whole, I don't know, it's just aesthetic to her that
Hmm.
it's just everything's polished and professional looking. And I was like, I want that. That's what I want to be. I want that figured out so I can have a solid book with good marketing behind it. And I mean, the writing's got to be good, obviously, because if the writing sucks, no one's going to read any of the other books.
Hmm. True.
But if you can get their attention the way that her books did, like she's got a beautiful cover on hers, and I was like, that's something to strive for. So I would definitely put them at the top as inspirational authors for me.
And so you just mentioned marketing.
Yeah.
How fun is that as an indie author, and how hard is it to get your book to your target audience?
It is hard. I have a marketing background. I am a professional graphic designer. I worked in graphic design for 15 some years. I know what I'm doing when it comes to design and most marketing. But oh my God, the internet is something totally different. It really is. It's like one week you're doing reels and they're doing great, and then everyone stops watching them because now we're doing flip through pictures. Oh, okay, cool. Carousels, great. All right. Oh no, now we're back to reels, and now we're over here, and now we're up there, and I don't even know where we are anymore. And I have been such a horror. If you were to look at my Instagram right now, you'd be like, "Are you even active?" And no, I am not. I'm busy writing a book. It's finding that balance is insane. I don't know how some of them do it. I'm still not sure how anyone has a job and kids and does this. I have a dog. That's enough for me because how they're writing books and marketing and working a full-time job and taking care of kids and they've got extra hours in the day or something. I don't know. They're magic, something. They're fairies. I got nothing. But I couldn't do it. I know I couldn't do it because just marketing one book was insane. And once I came out with the second and the third, and I was like, oh my God, I've got to do this over and over again. Why? What did I do?
I think
And then you just sit back and hope that someday you make enough money, someone else will do your marketing for you.
which would be nice, but I think like it's what you said, like your writing has to be good, especially as an indie author, because everything you do just reflects on yourself as well. So I think like if, and especially I think in the more dark romance or the erotic scene, like if you have that solid fan base, you can get away with like Instagram
Yeah.
PR. Nobody has the time for that.
Yeah. You can, yeah. It's hard because I also do a lot of local stuff. So I try to put myself out there a lot more local than I do online, but I've gotten a pretty decent online follow. Decent. It sucks compared to some people, but for me, it's decent. I'll take it. Um, and I've got the people that I know are going to read my books, and like I see them, their name pop up ordering my books every time one comes out, and I'm like, yay, those are my people, and they're the ones I'll interact with. I'm not just going to blow anybody else off, but like if you message me, I'll message you back so long as you're not trying to sell me something or you're rude. I mean, I'll totally message you back. And I think that's the best way to handle social media is
Yeah.
interacting with people, but that's also so hard and time consuming because then you get the people who think that they they have earned your time and they deserve it and they're entitled to it and it's like honey calm down, I have a job and books and things, I'll be with you in a moment. But luckily I haven't had too many of those. I've got like one and she disappeared pretty quickly, so
Nice. Yes, you have
I've been
those
lucky.
entitled people that, yes, we all know them.
Yeah.
So if um today an aspiring writer is watching this and like, oh, I want to get into this dark romance, but every time I write something, I'm blushing up and I actually don't know where to go. What would be your advice for any starting writer? And it doesn't even have to be like in a dark scene, just any writer, like people, you need to know this before you
Know your
start.
limits. Definitely know your limits. If you are uncomfortable writing anything dark or anything too spicy, don't do it. It's okay. You can write a book and have the doors closed right at the scene where we're supposed to be watching all the good stuff. Closed door romance. There's nothing wrong with it. It's got its own following too. It's perfectly fine. Don't force yourself to write something you don't like because it's going to show up in your writing. People are going to know if you're uncomfortable, if you don't like it, because you're going to rush through it. You're going to make it awkward. It's going to be clunky. There's nothing you can do to save it if you don't like it yourself. So give yourself some boundaries and give yourself some grace because this is hard. It is not easy. Even if you write fast and you write a lot, it is not easy. you're gonna have you got to learn to cut things, and it's crazy as a writer. So just take it easy, enjoy the ride. That's my advice on it.
It's great advice. So you told us you are at the end of book four, and then there is this little character definitely in your head screaming, I'm ready for book five. So
Yeah,
book four will be next.
book
When
four
do you
is
think?
I'm planning on June for book four because it is a polyamory, uh, super bi happy, out and proud gay book. Um, I love it. It's a Why Choose MMMF, and I'm just so excited for it. Um, so I'm hoping for June. I'm fingers crossed that I can get it done by June. I think I have like honestly think as soon as I hang up with you, I'm going to go back and finish the last chapter and a half, and I think I'm done. I think I can actually tonight put the end on it. It might be midnight by the time I put that, but whatever. Um, After that, I actually the fifth and last book in this last right last book in this series
How
is
many
supposed to come
times
out in the
have you
fall.
told that?
This book started as one, and then it became I'll do a three. I'll do a duet. No, three will be
Mhm.
better. Oh, I've got to write a fourth one. It was six at one point, and then he jumped into book four, so now I'm down to five. But I'm like, it changes all the time. And then my mom reads my books, and she's already told me that if I don't do a like novella or something in the coming years of let's get everybody back together and see where they are in like 5 or 10 years because I'm not done with these characters. I'm like, Mom, you're killing me. But she's not the only one, so I'm like, okay, I guess I'm doing that too. But book five should be out in the fall because it is the second hockey centric book of the series. So I
Okay.
want to put it out during hockey season. In the meantime, under my other pen name that I'm about to launch ish, I've got a steampunk book coming out that is not romance. It's like it's got a little subplot of romance in it, but I've got a sci-fi steampunk book coming out. It's with the developmental editor right now. I'm going to try to get it out this summer because I don't have time for anything else. No, I like to torture myself. Apparently, I like to put myself on deadlines that are impossible and then meet them.
Well,
I don't recommend that. New authors, I don't recommend that.
that's always fun. So steampunk. So you're changing a bit of your normal genre.
I am, and it's actually the first thing I ever finished writing wise. That book has been 10 plus years in the making. I started that so long ago, and I can't remember the how, what, why, when, where. But a lot of it is based off of I used to do steampunk cosplay, and my friends did too. And we created this airship in our head, and we were all part of the airship. And I was like, I'm going to write a book that's kind of loosely based on our airship. And they're like, yeah, you should totally do that. And then I did, and then didn't, and then did, and then didn't for years. And I finally finished it a couple years ago, and then put it in a box and said, no, I'm not doing anything with that. And then I got yelled at by my mom and some of my friends who have read it and said, why aren't we working on this book? Because it was really good. And I was like, oh, crap. So
Back in the
busted
saddle
that
it
out and
is.
fixed it. Yeah, basically. Oh,
So
so
your
much fun. But I
biggest
love those characters
supporter,
too. Mom.
sorry, mom, mom
Yep.
loves your books. So how is that like? Truly, it depends on the kind of relationship you have with your parents, but you are writing in a genre that most kids like, yeah, no, I'm not discussing
Oh
that
yeah,
with
no,
my
most
parents.
people like yeah, no, most people like nope, my mom does not is not allowed to read them. She can read parts of them. I will give her a chapter and then no, my mom is right there in the hot and heavy stuff and she will tell me if I need to add no, this is a little much, CJ. I add that a little over there or do this over here or whatever. It's like just add this and like okay, cool, mom. So long as you can handle it, we're good. And it's funny. She had never read an MM book before, and my
Mm.
second book is an MM hockey book. And she's like, I didn't know if I'd like it, and I really do. I love it. You have any more recommendations? I'm like, here, read these. But
Sorry.
my mom read romance
Mm.
all through her life. We've got the rip bodice style all over the house books. And her even her mom read like the spicy back pages of some magazine I can't even remember the name of. And so she was like, I've read this basically. You're just a little bit more spicy than I'm used to. Whatever.
Just a little bit.
A
I,
little bit. A lot.
I'm writing more dark, but more in the psychological thriller area, like not really in the romance scene. But I was talking the other day to my husband, and it was like, because my father-in-law, he is a fanatic thriller reader, and I was like, not sure, not sure if he
It's
can
hard.
actually. Hmm, I don't know.
It's hard.
Maybe what you said. Maybe chapter one. See how we
So
go.
it's kind of funny having her be like my because she's the first person who gets to read any of it. So if she comes back and's like, no, then I rethink how I'm doing it. She's only done that like once, and it was like one chapter. She's like, I don't know about this, so I had to change the whole thing. And when it came back, she's like, oh no, I love it now. This is perfect. I love it. Keep them in everything. Great. But it's also hard because she's my mom, so she's gonna tell me it's good. But she's also my
No.
mom, so she's gonna tell me if it sucks, but not as bad as I probably would tell myself. So it I love having the fact having her as a reader.
Mm.
It's super helpful because she's right there. I can just run in and be like, "What do you think of this?" But it's like it's so stressful when I give it to her because I'm like, "Oh, there goes my baby. Be nice, but not too nice, but nice." At least it's my mom, so I know she won't like crush my soul.
I think, but that, like, if your mom can be truly honest with you, and saying, well, you should probably change that instead of giving you the completely editor feeling
Yeah,
that
that's
everything
what I
is
told her
red.
too.
You're like, well,
Like, I need her to
okay.
find that happy middle ground there of telling me that this isn't working, but not crushing my soul. It's like find the happy area in the middle there where you're just like, hey, maybe rework this or something nice.
It sounds great. Your series sounds amazing. So, everybody watching this, catch a series if you love steamy and they're looking
Trying to frame it and I did
amazing.
a terrible job.
Um, you can actually read Jordyn's interview on our blog as well. It will be a bit different because we don't want to let you go over things twice. But other links to her books with the covers will be there as well on our website. And in the descriptions below, you can buy the series. Jordyn, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me and being on the show. I had a blast. I really
This was fun.
loved it. It was so good to have you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Very welcome. And I hope that when book four is coming out and book five, we will do this again because now I actually want to know, Devin, what are you up to?
What are you doing,
So,
guy?
so I really hope you will revisit us. For now, guys, thank you for watching, and we will see you next week with another episode of Beyond the Pages with a new author. Thank you for watching.